Sportsline, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Need tires right now? Drive through the new speed lane at Flynn's Tire and Hermitage to get your new tires installed fast. Just drive in and we'll get you in at Flynn's and tell them Flinny sent you. The number to call is 724-981-7900. That's 724-981-7900. It's the Pick Sportsline live on News Talk 790 WPIC and Sports Radio 96.7.
Hi, I'm Jillian.
Hi, I'm David.
And now it's time to start the show.
Here are the hosts,
Hugh Ringer and our daddy, Bob Greenberg.
We are back. Yes, we are. The Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service, flynnstire.com. And we are broadcasting live tonight till 7 o'clock on 790 WPIC, Sports Radio 96.7, the iHeart app, Sports Radio 96.7 Facebook page, live video there. Post a comment or a question. And, of course, at Twitter, at Bob Greenberg, at Ringer Hugh. Lots to talk about here tonight. We are jam-packed. The first bit of good news, Hugh Ringer is back, kind of. He'll be here for the first half hour via the phone to talk all things Steelers, so stay tuned for that. At 5:30, we'll be joined by the Dean of Mercer County Football Coaches, Sharpsville's Paul Piccarelli. 237 wins, and none of those 237 wins were like what he had on Saturday night in Erie, one of the greatest comebacks in the history of the District 10 playoffs. We'll talk to Coach Piccarelli about that at 5:30. At 5:45, the Vase Pub and Grill Mercer County Team of the Month, followed by head coach Ben English of the state champion Grove City Cross Country Team. Yes, the Grove City Boys Cross Country Team winning the state championship on Saturday in Hershey. They're second in 3 years. We'll talk to Coach English all about Grove City Boys Cross Country. 6:05, Jerry DePaula joining us from Trib Live Media. Pitt Panthers coming off a rotten egg on Saturday night, trying to rebound. We'll talk to Jerry about Pitt football. Also, Pitt basketball starts tonight as well. 6:25, Lock, Stock, and Barrel Plays of the Week. 6:30, Tom Reisenweber, This Week in District 10. And then we close it off at 6:45 with Ant Pegues of the Farrell Steelers, as Farrell getting ready to play in their 10th consecutive District 10 championship game Saturday night. So we are jam-packed, and we are glad to have Hugh Ringer back in this studio. Well, kind of in the studio via the phone tonight. Hugh, first and foremost, how you feeling?
Well, I'll tell you, my voice is holding out well right now. As long as I don't break into a coughing jag, I'm going to be fine. And, hey, I'll tell you, I'm really honored to have a small slot in this jam-packed show that you have lined up tonight, Bob.
It is a crazy time of the year, to say the least. And Paul Piccarelli and Sharpsville, Hugh, they scored 2 touchdowns in the last minute and 5 seconds of the game, which included an onside kick recovery to beat Mercier's Prep 35-31. One of the improbable victories in the history of District 10 playoffs.
Well, you know, if anybody can pull it off, it would be clearly one of the best coaches in Mercer County for many, many years, Paul Piccarelli. He coached at Mercer as defensive coordinator when I was athletic director. And, of course, he did his greatest work that everybody remembers as a head coach in Sharpsville. Very special coach, great person. I really feel good for Pick on this Monday.
And we'll be talking to Pick at the bottom of the hour. So lots to talk about. Hugh, first and foremost, the Steelers had the bye week, which I think came at a really good time considering a bunch of these emotional night games that the Steelers had lately. And they find themselves in pretty good position at 6-2, getting ready for their meat grinder of the schedule. And the breaking news just came out here recently, in case you did not see it. The NFL announced that they are not flexing the Steeler-Ravens game to Sunday night in 2 weeks. And they are...
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say they're not flexing it, and they are going to flex the Bengals and the Chargers, and they will take the Jets and Colts off that game. So that's great news for Steeler fans. I know Steeler fans love the night games, but they also love 1 o'clock games at Acrisure Stadium.
Yes, I was going to say let's have an afternoon game in here that really means something. Well, I didn't digest all that you told us, but we'll know tomorrow when we read it in the papers. So, yeah, very interesting breaking news there. And, of course, we may have some breaking news at any time in the next couple of days because, Bob, in just a couple of days, the NFL trading deadline is up. And I know the Steelers are still looking for some help from somewhere. All the good receivers are gone, apparently. But today, Jerry Dulac, in his column in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, said, I really don't think they're looking for a wideout now. He said, I think they might be looking for another edge rusher with the injuries they've had, maybe a little help in the offensive line, and who knows where else they might be looking. So Steeler fans want to be aware of that because the deadline is, 4 p.m. tomorrow?
The deadline is 4 p.m. tomorrow, and I don't know about you, but the speculation really starting from week 1 about wide receivers maybe coming to Pittsburgh has really has gone overboard. It seems like every week there's a new receiver that's being speculated about. I mean, it's understandable, but it's getting annoying, isn't it?
Well, it is, and of course, you may or may not have heard what happened recently. The Steelers were looking very covetously, shall we say, at a receiver for the, I think it was one of the Florida teams. Anyway, they were looking at a receiver.
Christian Kirk.
And, Kirk. And Kirk got hurt Sunday in the football game down in Florida, and Christian Kirk is out of the picture now, and he may have been the last real hope the Steelers would have had of getting a receiver. And that kind of tells you that their luck was not good in trying to get a receiver. So we'll see what Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin do as they get down to the wire here on the trading deadline.
Let me ask you a question, Hugh. If by 4 o'clock tomorrow the Steelers do not make a trade for a number 2 wide receiver, would you consider that a failure by Omar Khan at this point?
No, I absolutely wouldn't. I think Omar Khan and his assistants went above and beyond, certainly with Brandon Ayuk. I think they definitely looked long and hard and made probably some very decent offers to other teams for potential wide receivers they wouldn't mind having. It gets to a point where enough is enough, and you have to say, well, we're going to move on. Thanks for your time, and we'll see what we can do elsewhere. But I think the Steelers made the effort. It just didn't work out for them. That's all.
Do you think that Calvin Austin has stepped up enough to at least be a respectable number 2 at this stage, or is that still too early to tell?
I think the proof's in the pudding with Calvin Austin III, Bob. I think his big plays, especially the ones he made against New York a couple of weeks ago, spoke well enough for his ability. This guy can take the top off the coverage as a punt returner and, of course, as a wideout. And I think he's been a pleasant surprise. And, if he is not the number 2 guy, I think Van Jefferson is approaching that point, Bob. Van Jefferson had a very good game last time around. Not a spectacular game, but a solid game. And I think he showed the Steelers and their fans that this guy is not chopped liver, that he could get it done as well. The big disappointment, of course, is that their third-round draft choice from Michigan State has not been able to, or University of Michigan has not been able to get healthy all year, and we're not going to get to see the third-round draft choice. But such is life in the NFL. You win some and you lose some, and Roman Wilson will have to look ahead to next year.
And to be honest, I don't know. You know, we've seen it before. Rookie wide receivers never normally, especially in a situation where you're on a winning team, they normally don't make a huge impact. I mean, it's tough even as a rookie in any position, but wide receiver always seems to be the one that has the most difficult upside. I mean, Antonio Brown, I think, had like 11 catches as a rookie. I mean, it doesn't happen every day. So Roman Wilson not playing, it would have been nice, but I just don't think he would have had a huge impact.
Well, and Bob, I have a theory with wide receivers. I don't know how you feel about this, but I think the receivers that shine early are the studs, the big guys. The ones well over 6'2", 6'3", powerfully built, run like a deer, physical, the type we're talking about. And you mentioned a good example in Antonio Brown. He didn't make the big splash early on, and I think that's true of many of these young receivers. And, Austin didn't do much last year as a rookie, but once he learned the nuances of the league, he has found a way at only 5'8", about 180 pounds soaking wet, to go out and get the job done on the NFL stage. So that is definitely a major factor. I agree with you.
We're talking Steelers. You hear the voice. You ring her back for this first segment here tonight. Hugh, I've not had the chance because you have been out. You were on a little bit last week, but you've been out. And I want to be the first to publicly apologize because you were right. I was wrong about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson clearly, at least now, he is the answer at quarterback. Will he be the future at quarterback? That's a different discussion. But for now, he gives the Steelers the best chance to win the division, maybe get to the playoffs, and maybe make a run at a Super Bowl.
Well, I don't. I'm not going to take my hat off and say, "Hey, how about that?" I was one of the ones that said I thought he could do it. But you're looking at a guy 35 who's been in this league for many years, won a Super Bowl, has been to 6 or 7 Pro Bowls. I mean, his resume is still pretty doggone glittering, Bob. And that was the thing that I couldn't get away from. He's bright. He's personable. He knows how to lead a team. I think we've seen all of this, and he absolutely has so far checked off all the boxes. And I think Steeler fans have to be very happy that Russell Wilson has overcome a couple of slow starts. My goodness, that first game he played in, I think we were all shuddering the first 2 series in wonderment. What are we going to get here with this guy? Well, boy, he got it together, and he has transformed this team. In fact, one of the writers for the Post-Gazette this morning did a very interesting story about that, and he said, a lot of people thought he wasn't going to get it done, but he certainly did, in spite of his size and everything else. And that's why a lot of people are pleasantly surprised. And in fact, he went on to say, I think maybe he has now potentially brought the best pass offense back to the Pittsburgh Steelers that we've seen since the days of Ben Roethlisberger.
All right. Your fill-in host just texted me, Mark Slazak, and it said Russell beat 2 bad teams. Your thought? Well,
it is the NFL, and I'll kind of let my comment stand by itself. There's no easy win. You look at the New York Football Giants. I've said on the air, I think they might be the worst team in the NFL with the worst quarterback. But look at how they battled the Steelers tooth and nail, and they had to fight hard to win that football game, but win it they did. It's the NFL. And you have to be prepared to play every week. Now, granted, the proof is going to be in the pudding as Russell Wilson, hopefully as the starter, settles into the second half of this season. And, of course, we know they face the Commanders in Washington this weekend. We know that they have been a revelation. Some people think they're not as good as they appear to be. But then it begins with Baltimore. Then after you play at Cleveland, you have to go to Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City on Christmas Day, and close the season with Cincinnati. So we'll find out how Russell Wilson does against the big boys. I think that's a pretty good sampling, don't you?
Oh, yeah, no question. And I think, and I agree with you. First off, if Russell Wilson did not have a glittering NFL resume, then maybe you'd question those 2 wins over some of the lower teams in the league. But still, the fact that he's done so well in his career, probably a Hall of Famer, I think at this point, it's hard to question anything, especially for how bad this offense has been the last couple years. You mentioned the last 9 games, Hugh. The Steelers are 6-2. And how many wins out of these 9 games do you think they need to win the division?
Well, I think they could win it with 4. 4 more wins. That'd give them 10.
So they'd go 4-5 down the stretch. That's not going to be good enough for any of
us. And they could be in the playoffs. I don't know that I could project they would win the division. I mean, you look at the teams that are left in the division, and we forget the Browns because they're out of it, basically. Cincinnati has so much coming back to do, it's unbelievable. I think most people, even you and I, would reluctantly have to say that without question the team to beat will be the Ravens because they're hanging right a game behind the Steelers, and that's not going to tax them too much to overcome that if the Steelers stub their toe. So, but I think the Steelers definitely want to make the playoffs. I think they have positioned themselves to contend for that possibility, and we'll have to wait and see what happens.
And, of course, that 3-game stretch on December 15th at Philadelphia, then December 21st, 6 days later at Baltimore, and then 4 days later on Christmas Day, Wednesday, against Kansas City. 3 games against 3 basically division leaders in a 10-day stretch is going to be daunting, to say the least.
It is absolutely brutal. It is almost cruel to make a team go through that kind of a stretch. I have not done an analysis comparatively, Bob, with the 3 teams that you mentioned that the Steelers have to play in that gauntlet. Do they have the same amount of days off comparatively or not? I think that would be interesting to look at. But, boy, I'll tell you, if they wanted to test the Steelers' mettle, they're going to test them in those 3 games. That is absolutely unbelievable. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not looking at a schedule. But aren't 2 of those 3 at home?
No, they're at Philly, at Baltimore, then home to Kansas City.
Okay, just one of the 3, the one on Christmas Day. Well, it should have at least been 2 of the 3 at home.
Well, I would say the one.
But I rest my case.
The one positive is their last 9 games, they have no travel. I mean, outside of they go to Washington, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Philly, Baltimore. And there's no going to the West Coast or even to the middle part of the country. So the flights will be short. So that definitely will help the team when it comes to the craziness of that schedule.
Absolutely, and the Rooneys could rent buses and save money.
Well, who knows? They might do that. Hank's asking a question, Hugh, and I'll get your thoughts. Do you feel like the Steelers are underutilizing the tight ends? Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, and even Connor Hayward. Do you think they're underutilizing this group right now?
They most definitely are, Bob, considering the way they talked before the season that with the new coordinator, Arthur Smith, they wanted to go to the tight end even more, and I think all of us thought that Freiermuth could definitely handle it. That's why they kept Michael Pruitt on the roster. That's why they've been throwing the ball to Washington. But, I don't know how really to answer that and try to justify it, except to say they have had injuries at that position, as you know, especially Pruitt, who I think our coordinator really likes and wants to get him the ball a lot more, but because he's been hurt, he hasn't been able to. That's been a negative in this whole thing.
I would disagree. I think on the other side, Pat Freiermuth is the second leading receiver on the team. He has 26 catches, 2 touchdowns. Darnell Washington has been used more than just about anybody at this point, at least more than expected. He has 11 catches, touchdown. He's made some big-time plays, and his blocking is getting a lot of notice as well. Hayward and Pruitt, yeah, they have not had impact, but I think they have used those two guys as much as anticipated and hopefully more down the stretch. But I still, I think Washington is a sleeping giant here at his size and his blocking and his skill set. He has made some big plays. I'm satisfied with how they've used the tight end so far.
Well, I'm not dissatisfied. I don't think Washington will ever be a great receiving tight end, especially trying to catch the ball and cut it down the field. The guy who has been underutilized for whatever reason, in my opinion, is Connor Hayward. You know, he made some big plays for the Steelers over the years, and I think that he is capable of the same now that he's essentially a full-time tight end instead of an H-back. So I would look for them to use Hayward even more. But I do think when I saw Freiermuth's receiving stats in the paper this morning, I was shocked that they weren't better. And I think since he's healthy, they have to get the ball to number 88 a lot more in this offense.
Yeah, I agree, Hugh. I think it's definitely an interesting time. The schedule gets tougher. Of course, they play the Commanders on Sunday. Commanders, one of these.
And by the way, their quarterback is hurt, a little bit. I didn't hear any details. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but he's hurt, and there's some talk about how he will be on Sunday. I can't believe he won't play, though.
The 7-2 Commanders. I think Dan Quinn right now would be one of the favorites to be Coach of the Year in the NFL at 7-2. And, of course, Andre Coleman, the former Hickory Greats, an assistant coach on the Commanders team. And it'll be interesting to see, Hugh, how many Steeler fans make their way to Washington this weekend. At a 1 o'clock game, I would imagine there might be a lot.
Oh, I would think so, and the weather probably won't hinder them one single bit. I'm sure that the Pittsburgh Steeler Nation that loves to travel is eating up the schedule that you and I have been talking about here in the second half.
Najee Harris has had 3 consecutive 100-yard games, has never run any better. Did the Steelers make a mistake not extending him?
I'm beginning to think they may have, Bob. I don't want to see Najee leave Pittsburgh. I know that they say the shelf life for a running back in the NFL now is very short, but at the same time, I think this guy appears to be getting stronger instead of weaker. He is running with reckless abandon. I love what he's doing. I like the fact that Jaylen Warren has gotten healthy now to the point where he showed us in the last game that he is indeed a viable number 2 or 1A back again this year. Hope he can stay there. And I've been telling a lot of people, you haven't seen enough of Cordarrelle Patterson. I'll tell you, Patterson can really bring a spark to this offense, not only running the ball, but receiving the football and maybe even taking a kickoff in these weird formations and taking it back. But Patterson is a weapon they have not been able to use much at all yet because of injury.
Hugh, lastly, then we'll let you go. What role do you expect Cam Sutton to have here as he is now eligible to play?
Jack of all trades, master of everything. How's that? I would say they're going to use him wherever they need him. I think the plan, Bob, was when Cam came back, and he's back officially now, that Beanie Bishop would lose his slot corner job and Cam would get it. But hey, Beanie has 3 picks. Beanie is getting better and better, and I think he showed the Steelers already he's a player in the NFL. So Mike Tomlin is probably saying, stop that train here. Don't let Sutton get off. We may have another plan for him, which could be at cornerback, at strong safety, free safety. You know, the fact of the matter is, Bob, Cam Sutton is so bright and so resourceful and really so talented, he can play anywhere he wants to in that secondary. And I know the Steelers are glad to have him for added depth beginning this week.
No question about it. Well, Hugh, we appreciate your insight here as always. Hopefully all goes well. You're back in the studio next Monday as we have lots to talk about. Steeler talk. They're coming off be a big game on Sunday, and continue to get better, and we look forward to seeing you next Monday.
Well, I'll do my best. That's on my bucket list as my number one thing to do. Try to regain my health and get back in the studio with you.
Sounds good, Hugh. Take it easy. We'll talk soon.
Okay, Bob.
All right, Hugh Ringer, longtime co-host of this program, as you could tell, getting better. He sounds actually pretty good, and looking forward to having him in the studio next Monday night. We're going to take a break, come back, and we're going to change gears. Paul Piccarelli joining us next. The dean of Mercer County football coaches has been around the sport for 40 years, never a part of a game like he was part of on Saturday night in Erie. We'll talk to Coach Pick when we return. This is the Pick Sports Line presented by Flynn's Tire right here on 790 WPIC Sports Radio 96.7.
Joe Flynn here with Flynn's Tire. Let the Flynn's Goodyear credit card help you save all season long. Get up to $200 back by online or mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select Goodyear or Kelly tires when you use the Flynn's Goodyear credit card. Offer valid on purchases made October 1st to December 31st, 2024. So when you need tires, just drive in. Flynn's will get you in today.
And tell them Flinny sent you.
The Goodyear credit card is subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
Whether you live in Ashtabula, Trumbull, or Geauga County, Sandra O'Brien stands for you. As a former teacher, O'Brien is a common-sense leader doing what's right for Northeast Ohio. That's why O'Brien secured record tax cuts for Ohio residents and small businesses, giving job creators and hard-working taxpayers a break. Her fight for taxpayers continues because O'Brien also sponsored legislation to eliminate Ohio's state income tax. As our state senator, Sandra O'Brien authored the law to ensure Ohio's veterans get life-saving care, and she backed the bill requiring a photo ID to vote to ensure Ohio's elections are more secure. At the State House, Senator Sandra O'Brien is defending our values. That's why she supported the Save Women's Sports Act, which ensures men don't compete in women's sports, because it's just common sense. And her job isn't done yet. For job creators, for working families, for all of us in Northeast Ohio, vote Sandra O'Brien for State Senate.
Paid for by RSCC.
Simmers Crane is proud to support local companies that are keeping our valley strong. The demand for workers has never been higher. If you're looking for work, now is the time to rejoin our workforce. No matter what your skills or education, our valley needs you.
Simmers Crane is one of the last independently owned full-service companies in the region. They're looking for maintenance technicians for their service department, as well as industrial electricians with motor control experience, mechanics, millwrights, and certified welders. Simmers Crane services industrial overhead traveling cranes and material handling equipment, so you will be traveling to and working in their customer facilities. They also need mechanical, electrical, and civil engineers to design and manage projects. No matter what your skill level, Simmers Crane would like to talk to you. See the list of open positions at simmerscrane.com.
Keeping our valley strong. Brought to you by Simmers Crane. Visit simmerscrane.com.
It's the Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Need tires right now? Drive through the new speed lane at Flynn's Tire and Hermitage to get your new tires installed fast. Just drive in, and we'll get you in at Flynn's. And tell them Flinny sent you.
And welcome back, Pick Sports Line. Bob Greenberg here tonight. Saturday night in Erie, Coach Paul Piccarelli and his Sharpsville Blue Devils won one of the more amazing playoff games in the history of the District 10 tournament, which dates back 40 years. Sharpsville scored 2 touchdowns in the last minute and 5 seconds, including recovering an onside kick. And then with 17 seconds to go, Aiden Cadman threw a 28-yard touchdown pass to Aiden Pushkar to win the game 35-31 to advance to the District 10 finals to face Farrell this Saturday night in a Hermitage at Hickory. Coach Paul Piccarelli now joining us here tonight, Coach. And it's been a couple days since the miracle in Erie. Have you come off cloud 9 yet from what you guys accomplished?
Well, I told Sam Mowry earlier today when I talked to him, he congratulated us, and I told him that kind of game happens once in a lifetime. And I told him, but I've been coaching most of my lifetime, so I think I was due one of those games. It was a miracle. The nice thing about it is the kids on the sideline said, if we do this, we do that, we still have a chance for an onside kick. We've never attempted an onside kick all year. We attempted 2 that game, and so we were 1 out of 2, and it worked out well.
Have you slept much? I mean, when you got home Saturday night, did you go to bed?
Oh, not that night, because I was thinking about Farrell, because they're a headache in themselves with us. But we did enjoy the night. The next day, we were just back at work. It's something that we'll reflect on as the season ends or whenever it ends, and we'll go from there.
You know, part of the storyline was the injury to Aiden Cadman, your fine quarterback who came out this year as a senior and came in for the final possession. What is his status here tonight? And just talk about his toughness that he was able to do what he did.
Well, he had pneumonia just prior at the end of last week, so he was in bad shape to begin with, and then he got knocked out during the game, and he couldn't catch his breath. So fortunately, we put our freshman quarterback in there. He fumbled the first snap. He was all nervous. He hasn't played hardly at all this year, but he kept handing off to the guys, and fortunately, we were able to score. We had the ball at the 7-minute mark. We were able to score with about 4 minutes to go to cut it down to 10. And our defense stopped them. They had a 4th down grounding call, so we got the ball at the 50, ran a couple plays, and then what happened is they had a face mask, and then they had a personal foul on top of that, so it was a 30-yard penalty. Put us down about the 10 or 20, and we ran the 3 plays. We scored again, and there was a 1:05, I think, left on the clock. And we said we have no choice. We kicked the onside kick. Fortunate we got it. And that's when Hayden Cadman came back in. And, we had 4 different guys throw balls that night. And it was just something. We made up plays as you go along. I mean, everybody has a game plan. 95% of your game plan is prepared during the week. 5 to 10% of that, you talk about it, if this doesn't happen, like plan B, we were in plan C mode, and when plan C has to come about, you hardly ever win. So we were fortunate. We dialed up some plays. They worked. Our quarterback came back in then and made a 4th and 20. We made a complete pass for a first down, and then we scored a touchdown with 17 seconds left.
I mean, it's a miracle is really underselling what you guys did, because there, as you said, 6 or 7 or 8 plays or things that had to occur all toward Sharpsville to even get a chance to win the game, and they all happened.
Well, they had 2 opportunities in that sequence to intercept the ball. They dropped 2 passes that were right to them in that sequence to give us another opportunity to score. So, I mean, you put that in there with the 6 other things that had to go perfect, it was a miracle.
You've been calling the plays this year, so what was the play that you called for, which was eventually was the game-winning touchdown?
Well, it's a play we run during the year, but leading up to that, Coach Levis was on the sideline. He goes, "Let's try this." I'm willing, if someone comes out of the stands has an idea, I'll take all those plays. But we had out of our 2 tight T backfield, we had Hayden McFeeters throw a pass, halfback pass, and and we completed that. And it was all within our playbook, but when you're scrambling, your mind goes haywire. But it was all plays that we had. But when Hayden Cadman came back into the game, then it was plays that he knew and we did before.
Coach, you said after the game, I'm not going to put you on the spot here, but I thought I'd have some fun with it. You said would be one of the 2 or 3 most memorable victories of your long career, which dates back 40 years, 237 wins. We predicted that, of course, the number 1 win all time was your state championship win in 1997.
Without a doubt.
Would number 2 be the semifinal win to get you to the state finals against Riverview?
No, actually, I think it was the one before that was Bellwood Annis. We were down. We had to we had to drive, and we had to kick a field goal to win the game. And I thought that was unbelievable, that one. And when we beat Middlesex, we were a big underdog when we played Middlesex up in Storm up in Slippery Rock. That was a memorable one. But this one, without a doubt, is something that doesn't happen too often, if any. And we're very happy, and we know our work's cut out and ahead of us. Farrell's very, very good. They lost the 5 games that were powerhouses bigger than them, and we know what we have to do. We're going to need another 6 of them breaks we had against Mercyhurst and add about 5 more onto that to compete and win.
In your first matchup, things were going well that night. You were tied 14-14, ran the ball, kept Farrell off the field, but then you had 2 of your big linemen go down with injury and it changed the direction of the game. How healthy are those guys, and do you feel like that strategy could give you a shot again here on Saturday night?
It definitely will help. The one big kid we have, he's getting knee surgery right at the end of the year. They said it can't get hurt any more than what he's doing, so he's allowed to play. He's limited to what he can do. And our center, he's been doing great we're not really sure what happened to him. The funny thing is, when you don't have a trainer, it makes it a little easier. I mean, it's unfortunate we don't have a trainer, but you don't have to go to the doctor, so he's playing probably on a bad foot. But he'll probably check that out as the year goes on. But we're going to be healthy as we can be, and there's no excuses. We're going to come out and we're going to give it 100%. We far exceeded our what we thought this year, so we're riding high on that. And if we can have a miracle on 34th Street or it comes this week, that's fine. But we're going to give it our best shot and see what happens.
As you look at Farrell, obviously, number one priority is trying to slow down Juelz Johnson.
Well, nobody else could, so I don't know what we're going to do different. We just, our biggest thing is we arm tackle a lot, and we're trying to improve on that. We got kids that probably a year away from being real good, so we've got to get to him and not let him turn upfield and get going. I mean, we struggled with the kid from Mercyhurst. That number 5 was probably one of the best backs I've seen in a long time at that age. And so we know it's going to be a struggle against Juju. I mean, he's super. And they got 5 or 6 other guys on that team that, can make him miss and make big plays. But somehow, and Coach Amp knows what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to eat up clock, move the ball, move the chains, and go from there. If we can't do that, then it's going to be a long night.
Talking about running backs, you have a freshman running back, Gino Curry, that has really gotten my attention. I haven't seen many freshman running backs run like he does.
He's big in the legs, in the rear and the legs, and he drives. I mean, when you hit him, you've got to get him below the waist. So if not, he'll drive, and he makes things happen. He's definitely, without a doubt, we had Justin Napotnik as a freshman, and he was real good. But this kid is unbelievable. He's probably one of the best freshmen I've ever seen. He's fortunate to be behind the guys he has on the line, and he's very fortunate to have Jaden White beside him to take some pressure off of him. So, yeah, we're real fortunate to have that kid.
You get to play in the Valley Saturday night in Hermitage. I know you got to be happy about that. Should be a huge crowd.
Oh, without a doubt. That bus ride up to Erie is it's tough, but it was nice going back to Erie because a lot of good memories went at that stadium for us when we were on our way to state that year. It brought back a lot of great moments, so I was very glad that we played there. We're not very good at General McLean Field. I don't think we've ever won there, so when we saw it was Erie Veterans Stadium, we were ecstatic.
Has the Vet got new turf yet?
Yeah, it's purple for Erie. It was really nice. I'm gonna tell you, it's a sharp atmosphere when you have that stadium look. It'd be like going to Sharon. If they had the stadium, if they had the turf, it'd be unbelievable there too. So those are the games that kids remember when you play on a field like that at the special moment that they played in.
Well, Pick, we appreciate your time tonight. Enjoy the week. Prepare for what's going to be a huge game, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday night.
Okay, Bobby. Thank you.
All right. Paul Piccarelli, head coach of the Sharpsville Blue Devils, coming off an amazing win. One they'll be talking about, I'm sure, for years to come in Sharpsville. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talking about teams and talking about teams that will be talked about for years. The 2024 Grove City Boys Cross Country team winning another state championship. When we come back, we're going to talk to their head coach, Ben English. That's next. The Pick Sports Line presented by Flynn's Tire right here on 790 WPIC Sports Radio 96.7.
Joe Flynn here with Flynn's Tire. Let the Flynn's Goodyear credit card help you save all season long. Get up to $200 back by online or mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select Goodyear or Kelly tires when you use the Flynn's Goodyear credit card. Offer valid on purchases made October 1st to December 31st, 2024. So when you need tires, just drive in. Flynn's will get you in today.
And tell them Flinny sent you.
The Goodyear credit card is subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
This is XYZ Insurance. How can I help?
I have a question about my home policy.
Okay, question about phone policy.
Home policy.
Okay, gnome policy.
HOME, home.
Technology is great, but sometimes it's better to talk with a real person. With Erie Insurance, you have a caring, independent agent who's with you from beginning to end.
Your local Erie agent is Mailer Insurance. Get a quote today at mailerinsurance.com. Mailer Insurance, a Reinhardt's agency affiliate.
Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
When you're hiring, ZipRecruiter's technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. What if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's the Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Need tires right now? Drive through the new speed lane at Flynn's Tire and Hermitage to get your new tires installed fast. Just drive in, and we'll get you in at Flynn's. And tell them Flinny sent you.
And welcome back. Bob Greenberg here tonight on the Pick Sports Line. Never done this before, but we're going to do it here tonight for the first time. We're going to reveal the October Vase Pub and Grill Team of the Month before our next guest. I'm guessing you may have understand why I'm doing that, but here we go. It's time now for the Vase Pub and Grill Team of the Month.
It's now time to present the Vase Pub and Grill Mercer County Team of the Month. Vase Pub and Grill, in conjunction with 790 WPIC and Sports Radio 96.7, will honor one Mercer County team each month who has shown teamwork, leadership skills, sportsmanship, athletic, and academic achievement. Now, let's meet this month's Vase Pub and Grill Mercer County Team of the Month.
The Mercer County Vase Pub and Grill Team of the Month. Of course, it's the Grove City Boys Cross Country team. They won their 7th consecutive District 10 team championship in Titusville in October and just won their 2nd state title this past weekend in Hershey. They've won 14 of the last 17 district championships. They've done it with a couple of different coaches. They haven't lost a dual meet since 2007. Think about that. They have not lost a dual meet since 2007. Congratulations to the Grove City Boys Cross Country team. They are the Vase Pub and Grill Team of the Month. And now let's talk to their coach. Coach Ben English joining us. And Coach, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate that. We really appreciate you and appreciate what you do for all sports around Mercer County. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Well, we're blessed to be able to cover Mercer County sports, and covering your team has been easy with all the success you have had, winning another state championship. And you had, I think it was interesting because it seemed like this year you were the favorites, and there was there more? Hang on one second.
Mercer County team.
Was there more pressure this year? Because it seemed like everywhere I read that you were the favorites going into the state tournament.
Yeah, I don't know if there was more pressure or just the same amount of pressure. Every year we're trying to be in the conversation, and ultimately that's our goal. At the end of the year, we want to be in that conversation. We try to block out the noise. We try to block out what people are saying. It's nice, and it's good recognition. It's nice for the kids to have that out there, and being ranked throughout the state and being ranked, pretty high up, regardless of class. But we try to keep and stay level-headed, and just racing the race that we're in at that time. We've raced in quite a few big races this year, and I think we showed a lot of people who we were and showed ourselves who we were. And then when we got to it there at the end of the year, we came out on top. So yeah, I would say there was a little bit of pressure, but I don't know if there was more pressure than there has been.
What's been the secret to the Grove City Boys Cross Country's success? I mean, it's not just 1 or 2 years. It's been a couple decades now. What's been the key?
I'll tell you, I think just hard work and consistency. These guys, we've had a coaching staff that's been very consistent. Prior to me being head coach, Mike Sample was here for the last 22 years. Myself, this is my 18th year with the program. Coach Joan Schilling, Coach Brian Buchanan, they were with the junior high for the last 10, 11 years. And also the last few years, I've actually brought on one of my track coaches who has been with the track team for the last 10, 11 years, Coach Biddle. So it's been just consistency and hard work. We work all year. I mean, there is no time off. I actually gave them a couple weeks here just now after the state meet. They asked for it, and they're absolutely going to deserve it. They deserve it, and they're going to get it. So they work so hard, and they work so hard for each other. This sport is so grueling. It's such a challenging thing, doing day in and day out, and just staying consistent and working hard, I think is our secret sauce. And I don't think that's too much of a secret, but these kids work at it.
What was your reaction when you found out that your star runner MJ Pottinger had to have his appendix out and have surgery during the season?
My heart sank for him. Truly, he just coming off the win there at Foundation. He is and was one of probably the top runner, arguably one of the top runners in the state of Pennsylvania, and to come off the win on Foundation. Just huge high at that race with the team. We went 1, 2, 4, 5 in that race. It was so remarkable to watch and be a part of. And then, Sunday morning, I got the message that he was at Children's Hospital and they were scheduling surgery. My heart sank for him. What a turn of events. For him. He had such a great month of September, running really well, winning the red, white, and blue invite, winning Foundation, and then to have this happen. And, I would tell you, and just to show you the character of him, he was definitely distraught, as all high schoolers would be. But, within a day or two, him and I had a really good conversation, and he said, "Coach, I just want to make it back for states to help my team win." And, it went from him trying to win an overall state individual championship to doing whatever he had to do and whatever he needed to do to be there for the team and to help that team win. And, I'm getting a little choked up right now, but it truly shows the character and the heart that kid has for his team. And, every kid on that team understands that and knows that. And it's a truly great group of kids.
The three seniors, Isaiah Stoff and MJ, we talked about him, and also Colson Frank, going to be hard to replace.
Yeah, you can't replace those guys. But the one thing that we're in a very good position where these guys have been great leaders, and all year long they've been putting on. I would say they've been putting on a clinic on what it takes to be a leader on this team and what is expected on this team and the legacy that they're going to leave behind. We talk when these kids come in, we talk about how, we want to leave the program in a better place than when we found it. So when you're a senior, what did you do to contribute? What did you do to make that program better than what it was? And to see these guys head out and, all three are looking at running at college and, contributing in that way. But what did they do to leave their legacy behind? And I'll tell you, I think they have left a strong legacy where these younger kids, these younger guys, look up to them. And I think they're going to model right off of them. And, next year, we're going to reload. And, we got a really strong depth of athletes right now. We had 11 guys under 18 minutes this year, and only 4 of those 11 guys were seniors. So we're bringing back, seven guys this year that are sub 18 minutes. So we're very, very, very excited about that. And again, the legacy that they're leaving behind is just showing those kids, showing those younger guys the legacy and, the leadership that it takes to be a part of this team.
We're talking with Ben English, head coach of the Grove City Boys Cross Country team, who won the 2024 state championship last weekend in Hershey. Coach, how does this one feel differently than the first one? I know you weren't the head coach then, but you were obviously a part of the staff. How does it feel different?
Oh, it's anytime we win, it feels amazing. When winning isn't fun, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. But it's I don't know if it's different or if in 2022, like you mentioned, I wasn't head coach at the time, but I had deep ties with this program and deep ties with these kids. And to come out here, the next year, my first year as a head coach, we were runner-up last year. And then to come out here again this year and be in the conversation and actually go out and get it done. Winning a state championship is not easy. And to just kind of get that off my belt right now and off my shoulders right now, hopefully alleviates a little bit of stress and a little bit of pressure down the road.
How was try to describe the reception when you came into town? I mean, it's got to be pretty cool to be a part of that.
Oh, it's amazing. The shout out to the Grove City Police Department, the fire department, and our booster organization, the parents in the community. Coming into town, you don't know what to expect. We're driving 6 hours. I'm sorry, it's a 4-hour drive, but we stop for dinner, we stop for rest stops. It ends up turning into a 6-hour endeavor. And to pull into town and to be welcomed by the fire trucks and the police and to be escorted through town, and the kids, their faces just light up, and just to get the recognition that they deserve. They pull into the school and there's 150 people there, whether they're friends of the kids, whether they're community members, whether they're other teammates or administration. It was such a good feeling for them, because that's truly that's why we do it. We do it for these kids, and these kids they deserve all the accolades and they deserve all the recognition that they're getting.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time here tonight. Congratulations on the state championship. Congratulations on being named our Bays Mercer County Team of the Month. We'll be seeing you and your team here shortly with a presentation, and keep up the great work. You've made Mercer County very proud once again.
Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate it, and truly we appreciate everything that you and 96.7 do for Mercer County sports. We really do. All
right, Coach Ben English of the Grove City Eagles, appreciate your time and the kind words. And that's going to do it here for the first hour. Stay tuned. Hour 2 is jam-packed. We got Jerry DePaula. We're going to talk about the Pitt Panthers, football and basketball. Basketball tips off tonight. We have the lock, stock, and barrel plays of the week. We're going to hear the end of that Sharpsville game, one of the more amazing calls of the year in many years. We have Tom Reisenweber, Ant Pagee. Stay tuned. We continue here on 790 WPIC Sports Radio 96.7.
You're listening to News Talk 790 WPIC, Sharon, Hermitage, and Sports Radio 96.7 WLLF, Mercer, Hermitage, a Cumulus station.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. There are just hours left to campaign for president.
Together we will fight, 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 and win, win, win. We need everyone in Pennsylvania to vote because you are going to make the difference in this election.
Some Pennsylvania voters are feeling the pressure.
Yeah, it feels like a lot. I feel this week has been stressful enough. And then when I realized about both rallies and how close our state is making it, it makes me pretty nervous. But I think we can just do our vote, tell people to vote, and hope for the best.
Michigan is another important battleground state, and its Secretary of State said today early voter turnout was very strong.
Women cast 55% of the ballots submitted so far. We're also seeing young people engaged.
Two important groups. Correspondent Nancy Cordes on the Harris efforts to win their support.
All the rallies we've been to in these closing days have been filled to the rafters with supporters cheering for every line, especially anything she has to say about young voters, about health care, and of course, about reproductive rights.
The Supreme Court will hear a bid to preserve a voting map that raised the number of black majority congressional districts in Louisiana, but not until later. Jan Crawford reports the court is shying away from any election decisions.
This Supreme Court has made very clear they do not want to be deciding the outcome of this election. And honestly, I think we have to think what would happen if they had to do that. It's not 2000 and Bush versus Gore anymore. And I think there is a really significant concern that if the court were to have to get involved after the fact, after the election, would people respect that decision?
Jim Krasula reports election security is very tight.
Election day security is being ramped up to unprecedented levels. The states of Oregon, Washington, and Nevada have activated the National Guard, while the FBI has set up a command post to monitor threats. 19 states, including key election battlegrounds Arizona, Michigan, and Nevada, have enacted election security enhancement laws since 2020, according to the National Conference of State Legislatures.
The State Department says more North Korean troops are in Russia near the border with Ukraine. Spokesman Matthew Miller.
We now assess that as many as 10,000 have made their way to Kursk and could enter combat in the coming days.
Striking Boeing machinists are voting on the company's latest contract offer. It includes a 38% pay raise over 4 years, but no pension.
Boeing doesn't want to push forward right now. Well, let's fight forward later.
The strike has gone on for 7 weeks and largely shut down Boeing's jet production. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? They're yours, and Progressive protects them both. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When you're hiring, ZipRecruiter's technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. What if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Quincy Jones has died at the age of 91. While he may be best known as the award-winning producer for Michael Jackson, Peter King reports he was involved in a broad spectrum of hits.
His body of work includes arranging this classic for Frank Sinatra.
Fly me to the moon, let me play.
Producing rock and roll for Leslie Gore. Music for the big and small screen like Ironside, Sanford and Son, and this featured in Austin Powers decades after Jones recorded it. Quincy Jones was a jazz man at heart, assembling all-star bands for albums like Walking in Space. Peter King, CBS News.
Jones also kept company with presidents and dignitaries. I'm Cammie McCormick, CBS News.
It's the Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Need tires right now? Drive through the new speed lane at Flynn's Tire in Hermitage to get your new tires installed fast. Just drive in, and we'll get you in at Flynn's. And tell them Flinny sent you.
And we are back. Big Sports Line, Bob Greenberg tonight by myself. Hugh hopefully be back in the studio next Monday. We had him on for the first half hour of the program talking Steelers. And we are waiting for Jerry DePaula to join us as talk all things Pitt. I'm speculating possibly he may be on his way to the Peterson Event Center and maybe got caught up in traffic with all the political figures in town tonight. So we will wait, hopefully, Jerry, to give us a call here in a bit. Just caught word. If you're heading over to the YSU women's basketball game, they have a doubleheader tonight, I think, with their men at the new Zidian Family Arena at Bigley Center. There has been a power outage. This is after they had like a $4 million redo, and the start of the game has been delayed. So I just got that word. How about that? Interesting time, to say the least. The Pitt Panthers, their football team, off their best start since 1981, and it did not go very well Saturday night. They were overwhelmed by SMU. The Mustangs 8-1 on the year, and Pitt just didn't do anything right. Trying to go 8-0 for the first time since 81, and looked slow. Did not make tackles. Eli Holstein has maybe hit the wall. He actually got hurt late in that game. And none of it went well. So that was a disaster for the Pitt Panthers. The good news is they didn't fall out of the top 25. Still ranked 23rd. And that's meaningful. Why? Because when you're in the top 25, you get your name on all the national networks crawl on Saturdays. In a lot of cases, you're highlighted by where you're ranked. Helps with recruiting. Helps with a variety of things. So they're still ranked. And they got news also today that they play Virginia this week at home, 8 o'clock, Acrisure Stadium. And then if they get by that game, which you think they will, their big showdown with Clemson, which has lost some of its luster because not only did Pitt lose this week, Clemson lost. But that game has been scheduled now for a noon kickoff on November 16th. That would be a week from Saturday. That's at home. And depending how things play out, could play a significant factor on giving Pitt a chance to get into the ACC championship game. But right now they are in trouble because they lost at SMU, and SMU and Miami are both tied at 5-0 in the conference. Clemson is 5-1. Pitt's 3-1. So Pitt has to beat Clemson to have a shot. They don't play Miami this year, so that doesn't help. And getting to the ACC championship game in, I think it's fair to say, Pitt's only chance of maybe getting into the college football tournament. Mike wants me to talk about Penn State. I watched some of the Penn State game on Saturday. What a disaster for Penn State. They lose again to a top 5 ranked team. They lost to Ohio State 20-13. And questions are now being asked. about James Franklin. James Franklin has done I think all things considered, when he came into the program after the total controversy about where they were with the end of the Joe Paterno era. And then Bill O'Brien came in. Then Franklin came in. He's had success. A lot of regular season success. James Franklin. But ultimately has not had big game success. And that is the question that Penn State fans are asking. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Steelers. Mike Tomlin has had a lot of success, well respected, but gets criticized for not winning enough playoff games. James Franklin, a lot of success, well respected. Players want to go to Penn State. NFL players want to go to the Steelers. But James Franklin hasn't had much big game success. Is it a fair comparison? James Franklin and Mike Tomlin? I kind of think so. And how much longer will both organizations accept the lack of big game success? Steelers right now at 6-2, doing very well, considering they brought in a whole new quarterback room. But if the season unravels, and we've seen the schedule is daunting to say the least. I asked people on our Facebook page today, I asked them this question. Steelers are 6-2. How many wins will they finish the regular season with? At Washington. Home with Baltimore. At Cleveland. At Cincinnati. Home with Cleveland. At Philadelphia. At Baltimore. Home to Kansas City. Home to Cincinnati. I would imagine those 9 games, Steelers will be favored. The 2 Cleveland games, I'm saying for sure. I don't know about Baltimore at home. Maybe that's it. Those 2 games, I don't know. Some of the comments we had, Rich Reed said 11-6. Eric Nelson, 10-8. First round exit. Carl says 11-5. John Shell says 12 wins. Steve, 10-7. Clint, 10-7. Juju B, 15-2. Who thinks they're going to go 15-2? They're going to win all 9 of those games. Mike says 12-5. Leo, 11. Mike says 10. Paul says 13. Gene Fertig. Steelers will end up 7-10. Which means 1-8? Are you kidding me? Kevin says, be lucky to win 9 games. It's definitely interesting, to say the least. The schedule is brutal for a variety of reasons, including, really inexplicably, why the NFL would permit or set it up that the Steelers have not played a division game yet. Think about that. 6 of the last 9 games are division games. And we know historically those are much more physical, much more challenging. Then you throw in Kansas City and Philadelphia and Washington, 3 division leaders, or close to it. Philadelphia's not, but they're right there. And this is going to be very challenging. Things have gone pretty well right now for Mike Tomlin. He has hit, throw away the Dallas game where they, and they really blew that game, and that could come back to haunt them. But if this unravels, then what? Russell Wilson looks like he is in primetime shape and ability. He's played at a fantastic level. And if he continues to play somewhere near that level, then you feel pretty confident that they're going to be able to win a majority of these games. I'm thinking 10 wins will get you into the playoffs. So that's 4-5. Steelers have 4 home games left. Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Kansas City. So, can they win 3 of those 4? I would think so. The road games, I don't know. Going to Cleveland, it's still Cleveland. As in, it's a rival. And it's, Thursday night. So, if there's ever a time for the Browns, who have been ridiculed with their play lately, to remind the world that, okay, we're not bad. Players have a lot of pride. Kevin Stefanski has not done very well. It's a chance for Jameis Winston to remind the league that he's a capable quarterback. Played horrible yesterday, but he was great in his first game. So, if there's ever a time for the Browns to put on their best performance, it would be under the lights against their arch rival. So that's not going to be easy. The Bengals, they're the Bengals. When they're going, they're as talented as anybody. Burrow and Chase, this running back Brown, they're a talented team. Eagles, Jalen Hurts, he's having a great year, the Eagles quarterback. And Patrick Mahomes, 2-time defending champs. The only thing that would be interesting is, and I don't know if the league's even considered this. So the Steelers play the Chiefs on Christmas Day. That would be the second to last week of the regular season. The Chiefs right now have a 3-game lead in the AFC West. And they also have a 1-game lead. The Bills are 7-2, Chiefs are 7-0 in the overall AFC record. So I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. What happens if the Chiefs go into Pittsburgh on Christmas Day and they have clinched everything? Let's say they're, 14-1. They've clinched home field. They're the only bye. They've clinched the division, and the game is pretty much meaningless. Would you jeopardize your season putting Patrick Mahomes on the field against TJ Watt and the Steelers defense? I think that's fair to ask. Distinct possibility. Mike brings up the Steelers were 11-0 that year in the COVID year. I remember. Many people said, and I would agree with Mike, the worst 11-0 T of all time. It was hard to even fathom you could ever say that. So 6-2 this year means nothing. I would agree. So interesting times, to say the least. And the good news, if you didn't hear, the November 17th game, which will be in 2 weeks, against the Ravens, there was a lot of speculation that that game might be flexed to the Sunday night game. I think today was the deadline. NFL had to make that announcement. And good news is they're not getting flexed. The Bengals and the Chargers are the Sunday night game that week. Now, there are some people speculating, and I don't know the rules when it comes to this new flexing contract. But somebody had said, and it made sense, that the Steelers were already locked in to the Thursday night game against the Browns. So the Steelers may not have even been available to be moved to that Sunday night game, which gives them even less time to prepare. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but it makes sense if it was. 724-981-7900. We're talking Steelers, NFL, Pitt, Penn State. To the bottom of the hour, we have Tom Reisenweber at 6:30. Pharaoh coach Ant Pegues at 6:45. We're going to relive our lock, stock, and barrel plays of the week here in a minute or two. But how about them Browns? It's going to be a tough time for Cleveland fans. I don't know what else to say. Because in a lot of cases, the Browns are locked in because of this Deshaun Watson contract. And from all accounts, from all the experts who are experts on contracts and salary cap, the Browns have no way out. So they are locked in. And they're 2-7 right now, with no way out, at least in the immediate future. Interesting times, to say the least, in the NFL. Tonight, by the way, talking about the Chiefs, we will have them on Monday Night Football on Sports Radio 96.7. Interesting game. It's the Chiefs taking on Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Baker Mayfield left Cleveland and has gone on to play pretty good football. I don't care what anybody says if you're a Cleveland fan. I don't want to hear it. Every time you see Baker do well, there's no doubt in my mind that everyone regrets Cleveland getting rid of him. He was beloved. When the Browns were winning, he was beloved. Got hurt, struggled, and was pretty much run out of town. And they have to live with that. Steelers and Commanders this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Steelers are 3-point underdogs. Commanders are 7-2. This young quarterback, Daniels, is spectacular. I've seen him play a few games. They have Terry McLaurin. He's also a top-of-the-line wide receiver. So, going to be a great game. And for a long time, when Washington was at the top of the league, they had as good a fan base as anybody. And I imagine at 7-2, with the Steelers coming into town, it will be a pretty wild atmosphere on Sunday. We're going to change gears, as promised. Lock, stock, and barrel plays of the week from week 11, high school football. We had 3 playoff games on the radio and some exciting plays. And the last one I would say right now, is the early favorite for the play of the year. And you'll understand why when you hear it. In case you have not heard, I placed the video and the highlight all over social media today, but the Sharpsville Mercyhurst prep ending is one of the great finishes, and Ryan Briggs and Chris Birch had a great call. So here we go. The Week 11 Lock, Stock, and Barrel plays of the week.
Lakeview, Greenville.
Motion behind the set, the pitch to Gentili. Gentili gonna work up the middle. It's a 3-2-1, and he's in. He found space on the right side, and Gentili will score on the touchdown run, and Greenville pushes the lead out.
12th touchdown of the year for Gentili. And Kelvin, by the way, his longest run was 38 yards before that 57-yarder. So Greenville has taken a 13-0 lead.
Sharon, Conneaut.
7:15 to go here, first quarter. Sharon on top, 7-0.
Hughes is deep for the punt for Alex Paskers, who will stand at about the 34. High snap. Pressure coming, they block it. Ball is loose on the field, and Sharon going to get on it at about the 27-yard line. They blocked punt, another block kick for the Tigers, and they've got the football in great position.
And that will be Apollo Afonso who recovered it. And I think it was Whitehead who blocked it. I'll double check on that. But either way, the Sharon Tigers with that big special teams play yet again, and they take over at the Conneaut 26-yard line.
Sharpsville, Mercyhurst Prep.
He's had a great season. He's been through a lot, certainly personally, with his father, Ben, passing away early in the season unexpectedly. Belted, hurt tonight. He's come back out here in this last drive, looking to send Sharpsville to what would be one of the more improbable District 10 playoff wins in history. Cadman back to pass, 2nd and 10, flushed out. Cadman on the run, throwing it downfield. It's caught! Pushkar caught it! Pushkar caught it! Touchdown Sharpsville with 17 seconds to go. Aiden Pushkar makes the catch. Cadman to Pushkar. It's 34-31 with 17 seconds to go.
Cadman just kind of kept rolling, kept getting away from the rush. And he just flings it to the back corner of the end zone. Cadman catches it, gets the foot down, and unbelievably, Sharpsville has taken the lead.
Unbelievable call there. Unbelievable play. And just to clarify, because it was kind of the heat of the moment on the Sharon play, actually, Navion Brown blocked the punt, and it was recovered by Xavion Wilbon Venerable. So on that call, happened so quickly, but I clarified that today through video that it was Brown and Wilbon Venerable on the Lock, Stock, and Barrel play of the game. We're going to take a break, come back, and it's going to be time for Tom Reisenweber of the Erie Times. This week in District 10 coming up next. Stay tuned at 6:45. Ant Pegues of the Farrell Steelers joining us as well as his football team prepares for their 10th consecutive District 10 championship game. Stay tuned for that. This is the Pick Sports Line presented by Flynn's Tire right here on 790 WPIC Sports Radio 96.7.
Joe Flynn here with Flynn's Tire. Let the Flynn's Goodyear credit card help you save all season long. Get up to $200 back. Buy online or mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select Goodyear or Kelly tires when you use the Flynn's Goodyear credit card. Offer valid on purchases made October 1st to December 31st, 2024. So when you need tires, just drive in. Flynn's will get you in today.
And tell them Flinny sent you.
The Goodyear credit card is subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
Vay's Pub and Grill is proud to award the October 2024 Mercer County Team of the Month. Vay's is proud to announce that Grove City Boys Cross Country is the October Mercer County Team of the Month. Congratulations to Grove City coach Ben English and his state championship team, as they are the October Vay's Pub and Grill Mercer County Team of the Month. Congratulations to Grove City Boys Cross Country, the October Vay's Team of the Month. For more information, go to Vay'sPubandGrill.com.
This is XYZ Insurance. How can I help?
I have a question about my home policy.
Okay, question about phone policy.
Home policy.
Okay, gnome policy.
HOME, home.
Technology is great, but sometimes it's better to talk with a real person. With Erie Insurance, you have a caring, independent agent who's with you from beginning to end. Your local Erie agent is Mailer Insurance. Get a quote today at mailerinsurance.com. Mailer Insurance, a Reinhardt's agency affiliate. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Listen to Senior Update with Sam Bellich every Friday morning at 9 as he explores issues and concerns about seniors in our community. Sponsored by Mercer County Area Agency on Aging Incorporated, Pennsylvania Medicare Education and Decision Insight, PAMED, which offers free Medicare counseling by specially trained staff to answer your questions about Medicare, Medicare savings programs, Medicaid, and supplemental insurances. For more information, call 724-662-6222 or 1-800-783-7067. This project is supported by a grant from the Administration for Community Living. Do you have a loved one in a long-term care facility? Pennsylvania's Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program works to empower residents and advocates for those who are unable to advocate for themselves. Call 724-662-6222 for more information or to become a volunteer. Listen to Senior Update every Friday morning on News Talk 790 WPIC on air, online at 790WPIC.com, and on the 790 WPIC radio station app.
I'm hungry.
Well, I know just the place to go.
They got what I like?
Oh, yeah.
Win. Wait, what about drinks?
Well, it's a bar and grill, so yeah, you're covered.
Win-win.
Speaking of win, they've got gaming too, so you can
win.
Come sit down for a great meal, a great drink, a great time, or all three. Vay's Pub and Grill has just what you want. So come by for good eats, cold drinks, and the latest ways to win. Vay's Pub and Grill, East State Street, Hermitage.
Now it's time for This Week in District 10. This Week in District 10 is brought to you by Flynn's Tires and Auto Service. Here's Bob Greenberg and the Erie Times' Tom Reisenweber.
And it's that time of the week, This Week in District 10. Joining us is Tom Reisenweber of the Erie Times, GoErie.com. And Tom, what a exciting weekend of District 10 football playoff games, highlighted by the miracle at the Vet on Saturday night by Sharpsville.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the more exciting weekends I can remember in a long time. Obviously a huge comeback by Sharpsville in the fourth quarter, down 31-13 to Mercyhurst Prep to win on, I'd say, one of the more controversial touchdown catches in a long time. But the nice thing about Mercyhurst Prep that I've learned the last few days, their players and their coach and everything, they're in the mindset of it should never come down to it. So who cares if it's a catch or not? They should have never been in a position to lose the game because they were up 31-13. So they're handling it the right way, I think. You can't blame one play for an entire game. But what a story. With Aiden Cadman, didn't play before the season for a couple of years because he's behind another quarterback, behind Colin Summers. Decided to play this year, won last year. Lost his dad, and there's reports he had walking pneumonia going into the game. Got lit up to the point where I was told that when he got hit on a strip fumble, the Mercyhurst coach ran on the field. He thought the quarterback was that hurt that he wanted to get out there and make sure he's okay. And comes back for the last drive to lead them. There's so many plays that led up to that touchdown to win it. They converted a couple of fourth downs, recovered an onside kick. It was almost a Disney movie out there, the way Sharpsville won that game. So just hats off to them. And it capped a great weekend. You look at Meadville and Oil City went to overtime. You had Corey being Fort LaBeouf on a doink field goal from 37 yards on the first field goal ever by a kicker and the first field goal of the season for Corey. Some other great games. Reynolds rallied for a great win over Eisenhower. It was overall just an outstanding weekend of football.
Yeah, I had Coach Piccarelli on in our first hour, and I asked him, and he said, he never went to sleep Saturday night. Which is no surprise after the emotion of that game. Now, what's interesting about the game-winning touchdown, and I thought about this over the last 24 hours, Tom, if it wasn't for the Erie Times sports reporter Jeff Uvino's video, because he had the greatest angle of all time, standing in the end zone, literally where the ball came and the hit happened, would there have ever been controversy? I don't think anybody would have even seen how that play ended.
Yeah, I was thinking about that if he doesn't have that video, I wonder if people think there's no way that it's a touchdown because you can clearly see in his video the catch being made, and him trying to. I think the receiver's trying to tuck it against his forearm. But if you watch that from the side or from the stands, you pretty much just see a ball getting knocked loose. And I wonder if people would have thought there's no way it's a touchdown, or that that's the video kind of helps. I think that kind of secures. I think it's a touchdown catch. A lot of people are taking the NFL mentality of maintaining the catch through a hit. I don't think that's a rule in high school. I know it's a new rule in college, but I'm pretty sure in high school, once you catch it and you have your foot down, it's a touchdown. So, but yeah, outstanding video of that by Jeff. He did a great job, and I told him, it's great video, and part of that is just luck being in the right place at the right time, because you figure he picks any other part of the end zone, and the video is not as good.
I actually got the rule, the high school catch rule, sent to me, and after reading this rule, and here's the key part of it, it says, in order for a catch to be completed, the player must establish that he had possession. Possession of the ball is determined by the player's ability to hold and control the ball after he caught it. This implies that there was some period of time between the catch and when possession has been established. So if you look at the video and the replay, it's very close. Was there time between the catch and the ball came? I mean, it's difficult. It's one of those cases, if you go to the next level and the call on the field was a touchdown, I don't know how they overturned that just because of the definition of that rule.
No, yeah, you're exactly right. That's one of those where I don't think either way, when you call it, you can overturn it. It's interesting that they don't mention a period of time of like how long it has to be, because I think the one key part of this, and people think this is him bobbling the ball, I think he caught it with his fingers, and I think he pins it against his forearm like a running back. So I think the motion of transferring from your fingertips to your forearm, to me, establishes possession. Maybe that's just not enough, because it was very, very quick. It was obviously a split second. So maybe that's not enough to be established as catching in possession. To me, it is that it transferred from his fingertips to his forearm. But it's just a brutal way to lose a game either way. No matter what, if it's week 1 or the D10 finals, that's just a great play for catching it, and a really tough way to lose end your season.
Tom, last Monday on this program, we were not aware at the time that school was going to forfeit a playoff game. Slippery Rock eventually did. It's been somewhat of a quieter debate now. District 10 will have to discuss it at their meeting in December. But just one last comment about how this all played out.
Yeah, obviously, I think the one thing is interesting is, obviously, I think we all know that Hickory would have blown out Slippery Rock anyway. Obviously, there could have been maybe some upset, maybe possibly, but really, that wasn't going to happen. So, a forfeit, it looks bad because everything was scheduled, officials, site, tickets, media. You want to have more discussions beforehand. I know there's, this is before week 10, so. Yeah, but if you're 1 or 2 injuries away from not being able to play, you probably shouldn't play anyway. You should go ahead and opt out. The opt-out date comes out early in August. It's set that early, so you have 4 months to have this discussion. And I think you really need to take part of it and you discuss with your coach, your AD, whoever wants to make the decision. That if you're that beat up, just go ahead and opt out. We've now seen 2 forfeits because of this. Cambridge Springs, I think, just forgot to opt out when they had to forfeit to Farrell. They were really beat up. It sounds like Slippery Rock's trying to say that they weren't going to opt out maybe until they got some injuries in week 10. But either way, there's got to be better discussions before this. And hopefully in the future there's more communication. And we'll see what D10 does. They have a meeting in the second Wednesday in December. They've given programs probation for less. So we'll see what they end up doing.
Tom, I know a lot of the fingers have been pointed at Slippery Rock, but I'll pose the question. Is District 10 culpable at all in this situation, just for the fact that in an invitation-only tournament, they did not have to take Slippery Rock, a 3-7 team, into their field, but for whatever reason, they put them into the field? And could District 10 have avoided this entire situation by just not putting in a team that only had 3 wins?
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. That that Slippery Rock probably didn't deserve to go. This is more filling out a bracket by District 10. And it's tough because you look at the situation, they finished tied in the region with Conneaut and Grove City. Grove City opts out, and they beat Conneaut. So it's kind of like, do you take one without the other? Or can you ignore that head-to-head and say, forget it, overall 5-5. We want to give them a chance. We don't want to give Slippery Rock a chance at 3-7. So let's just take Conneaut. Let's not take either one. They had other options than taking Slippery Rock. And it's funny because, 10 years ago, they might have said, we want in at 3-7 if there's a spot. It seems like a different case-by-case basis. We've had years where we've had really good teams not get in with good records. We've had teams, with bad records get in and, not do well, obviously. So it's hard because the evolution of the playoffs where, we had an unfair system where teams were 9-1, not getting in. Then we went to everyone gets in. Now we have a ranking seeding system to seed teams. So overall, I think there's plenty of blame to go around in several places. District 10 could share some of that by putting them in. I'm sure Slippery Rock was surprised that they got put in. They probably thought they had no chance. But at the same time, you got to make sure you don't get in by opting out.
Let's quickly look at the brackets and the matchups for the weekend. 1A, you have Wilmington and Reynolds Saturday at Farrell High School, Greenville and Cambridge Springs at Meadville High School also on Saturday night. Rematches here. Just a thought about these two games.
Yeah, Reynolds with some nice momentum with a great win, scoring in the final minute. Also had a huge touchdown return and with 1 second to go in the first half to beat Eisenhower. But, what you give Wilmington any kind of time off, they're going to prepare well, especially for a team they've already beaten up pretty good. So I think Wilmington rolls in that game. Greenville, Cambridge, it's an interesting game. Greenville went to Cambridge, beat them 17-0. I believe one was a return and one was a long touchdown pass for the two scores, plus a field goal. So, the two offenses really didn't do a ton in that game on that grass field. Will turf make a difference? I don't know. But both defenses have played really well this year. Greenville has been extremely good. Cambridge Springs has been right there with them. Great game over Sayrtown. Played really good defense in a kind of a rivalry brawl kind of game. So that could be one of the games of the weekend between Greenville and Cambridge Springs.
In 2A, we have a championship game. Farrell takes on Sharpsville. Farrell in their 10th consecutive title game, looking for their 4th championship in a row. Sharpsville, we've talked about them when they two teams played a couple weeks ago at Farrell. Game was 14-14. Sharpsville was moving the ball up and down the field. Their two big linemen got hurt and then changed the game. Despite it all, I think Farrell is the heavy favorite, but you never count out Paul Piccarelli.
Yeah. Like I said, I think Farrell is definitely the heavy favorite, but what Sharpsville's got to do is, somehow just forget about Saturday. It was a great win, one of the top moments in their program's history, but they can't just ride on that. They have to start over, kind of do the same thing. Try to shorten the game a little bit against Farrell. Don't let them get into a track meet because Farrell will put up points without a problem. They have so many athletes on that team. They're real loaded. So, it'd be a nice Cinderella story here for Sharpsville if they can win this game as well. But it's going to take a huge effort. Like you said, Paul Piccarelli's been around for a long time. He's figured out ways to beat teams that he probably shouldn't, and it could end up being a good game, but Sharpsville's got to play their best game of the year.
Yeah, Sharpsville got like 6 or 7 things go their way on Saturday. They need probably 10 or 12 things to go their way this Saturday.
Absolutely, and it wouldn't. You might need a few more catches like that to go your way, but it's possible. But like you said, they got to play pretty much a perfect game to beat Farrell.
Talking about playing perfect games, Titusville and Corey have significant challenges on Friday. Corey taking on Hickory, Titusville taking on Sharon. I mean, these seem to be as lock of all locks for Sharon and Hickory to meet again for the District 10 title.
Yeah, I think we kind of looked at it last year, how good those two teams are, and they didn't lose a ton. They both returned really strong senior classes and a lot of athletes on both sides of the ball. And I think we kind of been saying all year, it's going to take a huge effort to stop either one from going to the D10 finals. Obviously, Corey with a nice emotional win on the last second field goal. Titusville was only up 6-0 on Fairview till back-to-back pick sixes changed that game in the second half. So they had a nice shutout win over Fairview, but Titusville, they got to figure out a way. I think, when I saw them play against Girard, they pulled out the old 7-3-1 formation offense with Jackson Colville behind. Maybe you run that a lot and try to, shorten the game a little bit. It's really hard to stop the way the Titusville's offensive line plays, and Jackson Colville is a really tough runner. when it gets a little bit of space. So you got to figure out a way to shorten the game, both teams. And that's tough for Corey, because Corey's been a pass-heavy team. Their quarterback's a wrestler who's been throwing for a ton of yards this year, a lot of touchdowns. But they got to try to run the ball as well. And they're still not going to have their one player who got ejected in the Week 10 game. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do here in their game plan, because the only way you're going to stop these teams is you got to shorten the game, run the ball, and keep it out of their hands. Because once Hickory and Sharon get the ball, they're basically a threat to score every single play.
Yeah, no question about it. Tom, we appreciate your time as always. Have a great week. We look forward to chatting with you next Monday.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob.
All right, Tom Reisenweber of the Erie Times. And let's see. We're going to take a break first, and then we're going to come back as promised, and we'll chat with the head football coach of the Farrell Steelers, Ant Pegues. His team getting ready to play in their 10th consecutive district championship, looking for their 4th win in a row, and they are really playing at a high level right now. We'll talk to Coach Ant Pegues when we return. This is the Pick Sports Line presented by Flynn's Tire right here on 790 WPIC Sports Radio 96.7.
Joe Flynn here with Flynn's Tire. Let the Flynn's Goodyear credit card help you save all season long. Get up to $200 back by online or mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select Goodyear or Kelly tires when you use the Flynn's Goodyear credit card. Offer valid on purchases made October 1st to December 31st, 2024. So when you need tires, just drive in. Flynn's will get you in today.
And tell them Flinny sent you.
The Goodyear credit card is subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
In 1973, Lock, Stock, and Barrel opened their doors and served their first of over 3 million giant submarine sandwiches. And they still serve 42 whole subs on 15-inch buns. Lock, Stock, and Barrel also has burgers, specialty sandwiches, wraps, gyros, salads, wings, and even breakfast. Lock, Stock, and Barrel is also a full-service deli. Party rings, meat and cheese trays, and cold veggie trays are all available. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Closed Sundays and Mondays.
Stay refreshed and hydrated with Herman's Water, your go-to bottled water choice in the Valley since 1908. Herman's premium spring water is sourced from nature's purest springs, delivering a crisp taste that quenches your thirst. Say goodbye to dehydration and hello to hydration. Visit hermanswater.com to order your supply today that can deliver to your home or office for free. Ask about our new customer offer of 1 month free rental and 2 free bottles. Herman's Water, when taste matters.
Did you know that Mancino's Driving School can give you your driver's test? That's right. Mancino's Driving School provides an approved Pennsylvania Department of Education certified driving course as well as behind-the-wheel training. Mancino's Driving School offers one-on-one, on-the-road driving lessons 7 days a week with day and evening hours. They use only certified driving instructors that have undergone extensive background investigation. For details or more information on adult training, go online to mancinosdrivingschool.com.
Imagine a bathroom that's not just a room, but a sanctuary. At Warner's Homes and Improvements, they believe in taking the time to get it right. That's why they are proud to introduce their bathroom installation service, where done in a day is a thing of the past. Experience the difference of a bathroom designed for you, not the clock. Visit Warner's Homes and Improvements on Route 19 in Mercer or at warnerconstruction.com. Warner's Homes and Improvements, where your bathroom is our masterpiece. Don't rush perfection.
It's the Pick Sports Line, presented by Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Need tires right now? Drive through the new speed lane at Flynn's Tire and Hermitage to get your new tires installed fast. Just drive in, and we'll get you in at Flynn's. And tell them Flinny sent you.
Welcome back, Pick Sports Line. Bob Greenberg here tonight. The Farrell Steelers will play for their 4th consecutive District 10 championship this Saturday night in Hermitage at Hickory against the Sharpsville Blue Devils. Their 6-year head coach, Ant Pegues, joining us here tonight on the program. And, Coach, it's November. You're playing for a championship. The beat goes on with the Farrell football program.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, we feel like this is our time of the year, and we've been playing some good ball as of lately, and we just can't wait for the championship on Saturday.
Your team is at 6-5 now. You got off to a really brutal start with a brutal schedule. Did you ever second guess playing that very competitive schedule early on?
Honestly, no. I actually thought we we could have got some of those games early. And I knew we had a young crew. You know, we had a bunch of young guys, a lot of guys that replaced graduation, but I just felt like we was up for the task. And in a lot of those games we were in, and actually had a chance to win those games. But no, I definitely don't regret it because I feel like that those playing that non-conference schedule is making this team that we are now, and we build off of that.
From your perspective, from day one to tonight, where has your team improved the most?
You just see the kids mature from day one. You know what I mean? They kind of learned the game a little bit better. They kind of took heed. They practiced a lot better. They just kind of overall kind of come together as a group. You know, they just had to kind of find their identity as a team and kind of lean on each other and trust the coaching. And you could just tell we're just a totally different team from week one.
And that's a reflection of the youth as well, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, there's some points throughout the season we have 5-6 freshmen on the field starting at some points, and 4 or 5 sophomores, and those guys kind of was able to mature throughout the season. A lot of playing time, a lot of bumps and bruises, and a lot of adversity. But that's what builds character, and that's what makes your team stronger.
Talk a little bit about Juelz Johnson. I mean, you've been around this young man, and I'm sure at this point there's not much he can do that can surprise you.
No, none at all. The kid is so tough. He's what you call a dog. You know, he's an athletic kid. He's a very smart kid. The kid is a 3.8 in the classroom, so he's super smart, and he's just the ultimate competitor. You know what I mean? He's one of those kids that'll play guard for you if you ask him to, and he's an ultimate competitor kid, and he's our leader of this team.
Not to get you in trouble, but I'm looking at that all-time list at Farrell with the incredible running backs that you've had, Christian Lewis and, of course, Stallworth and Chapman. I mean, Juelz Johnson's right in that list. I mean, he's as good as any of them from my perspective. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely up there in that list. You know what I mean? It's just so funny that a couple of them wore the same number 3, and he's definitely up in that list. You know what I mean? He's only a junior, but he's just as tough as some of those kids and athletic. And you're right, Bob. He's definitely up in that list of top running backs.
Let's talk about the quarterback. Young man you know very well. He is your son, Aaron, and you got to be extremely proud to see how this young man has matured from his position from day one to tonight. Where has he grown the most?
He's grown the most really commanding offense. You know, when the offseason hit, right after he lost to Westinghouse last year, he really jumped in the weight room, and he really started putting in that work, you know what I mean, that he really needed to put in. And throughout the summer and throughout the spring, and he just kept working. So by the time we got to the season, you know what I mean, he just needed to get the reps. He needed to get more playing time, and as each game go on, you can just see the improvement. You know, he's showing some athleticism. He's always been kind of an accurate thrower, but he's really commanding the offense. He's really leading the team right now from the offense standpoint, and that's where his maturity kind of sets in right now.
How have you handled that? I mean, there's a dynamic there dealing with your son who's a quarterback. I mean, there's got to be some tightrope moments there where, yeah, you want to yell at him, but he's also your son. How do you deal with some of that?
It's tough, you know, because, you know, sometimes you forget that I am his coach and the dad moment kicks in, and then sometimes you got to take a step back a little bit and just remember, you know, he's still a young kid. He's still a first-year starter. He's still learning. But it's honestly, Bob, it's been a lot of fun. I would never change it for anything. I think it kind of made our bond a lot closer. You know, we hang out a lot more, and we talk a lot more football, and we spend a lot more time together. So when the games come on Friday nights or Saturday night, it's just so fun to see him kind of take on the pressure of being a quarterback at Farrell and actually performing well. You know what I mean? So for me, it's been something of a blessing.
I remember talking to legendary Grove City coach Don Fee at one time when he got to coach his sons, and he said it's amazing, but there's also added pressure. You get it from the community, and when your sons are playing well, then there's nobody talking about anything. So you've dealt with some of that, I'm sure, early on, but at this point, his play spoke for itself. Yeah, for sure. You know, there's always added pressure as being the son's coach, but playing that position as the quarterback, there's even more pressure. You know, people are going to talk and they're going to say what they're going to say. You know what I mean? But
I think the kid is showing that he's deserving of the position. I think he's showing that he's deserving to be the starting quarterback. And his play right now has been really, really good for us. You know what I mean? He got us in a nice position right now that we're playing for District 10 championship, and he's playing well. So I'm just so proud of the kid. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things I could say about him, but I'm just so proud of the kid that he took the challenge on, and he's doing well.
And you're talking about District 10 championship. That game is Saturday versus Sharpsville against Paul Piccarelli and the Blue Devils. Are coming off a miracle of all miracles. They battled you guys at your place for a quarter and a half. Just a reflection on what you expect and the challenge taking on the Blue Devils.
They should be proud of where they're at right now. You know, they played us very well. When I heard the score of the game, I think Mercer was up 31-20, and I think I kind of started doing interviews. I thought the game was kind of over. But then you find out how they won, and they was able to grind it out. Quarterback came back in after being injured, and they're riding high right now. And we got our hands full. Like I said, they played us very well that first game. So we got to be on P's and Q's, and we got to bring it this week. If not, they'll sneak up on us. And Paul's going to have that group ready to go. He really don't have anything to lose, but to have that group ready to go, and we got to be prepared.
Now, I know you were thinking about it because I saw a lot of the Farrell fans thinking the same thing I was, that, if Mercyhurst Prep wins, you're going north. So to be at Hickory Saturday night, I know everybody's got to be thrilled.
Oh, definitely, for sure. That's like I said, I thought Mercyhurst won at the time when I was like, man, we're going to have to travel. You have to go up north, you know what I mean? But to find out that Sharpsville actually won, I was actually happier for them, you know what I mean, to get that battle again. And we only got to go 5 minutes up the road to play the game, and it'll be a nice night, and just looking forward to Saturday.
What's going to be a couple keys from the Farrell perspective to win your fourth title in a row?
Defense, we just got to line up properly. If we line up properly and tackle, I think we'll be fine there. Offense, we just got to execute. We got to get the ball in the playmaker's hands, and my quarterback got to do what he do and lead the offense, and we got to come out and show some athleticism and play hard-nosed football and tackle well, and if we do that, we'll get our fourth in a row.
I haven't done the research yet, but I'm guessing you may be the first team ever to go to 10 consecutive championship games. What does that mean?
That means a lot. That means this program is doing pretty well over the years to make 10 consecutive championships in the district, and so that means a lot. I'm so proud of this program, so proud of the coaches and the district and everyone that poured into this program. So everyone, the city, everyone, the community should be proud of us. 10 in a row. That's kind of unheard of, and I'm just so proud of this program where we're at. But we got a lot more work to do. We're not looking to finish here on Saturday. You know what I mean? We're looking to keep our goals going, and this is number 2 on our goal. We did the first goal. We got the region, and our second goal is to get the district. And then after that, we'll chase our third goal, the state championship. So I'm just proud of the program.
Yeah, no question about it. Lastly, I think it's really cool. Not many schools would do what you're doing. Is you're playing Saturday night in Hermitage, but you're also hosting the Wilmington Reynolds game. That says a lot about the Farrell School District that would be able to do that and want to do that.
Yeah, for sure. We like we told them, we'll host whatever. I feel like we got one of the best facilities in the area, and we love showing it off, and we get some local games there, and hopefully we'll get that big game next week, whoever it be. But we love showing off our facilities. We did a lot of work to the facilities, upgraded the visitor bleachers this year, press box, and we just want to show it off too. But we're going to go up and play at Hickory while we got a game there, and we just feel good that we can do that.
Ant Pegues, so thanks for your time tonight. Have a great work week of practice and healthy, and we look forward to seeing the big game Saturday night in Hermitage.
Yes, sure, Bob. Appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we'll see you this weekend.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, you will see me this weekend for sure, Coach. Appreciate your time as always, and I want to remind you we have full coverage. Friday night, we have the 2 AAA games on the radio, also the iHeart app, audio on our Facebook page, Sharon and Titusville, Hickory and Corey. Then on Saturday night, we have 2 more games, including the championship game, Farrell and Sharpsville, with live video on our Facebook page. We'll also have Wilmington and Reynolds as well, with updates of Greenville and Cambridge Springs. So we have you covered. That's going to do it here for the Pick Sports Line. On behalf of Flynn's Tire, I'm Bob Greenberg. Have a great week, everybody.
listening to News Talk 790 WPIC, Sharon, Hermitage, and Sports Radio 96.7 WLLF, Mercer, Hermitage, a Cumulus station.
This is a Radio PA news update. Polls show it's still a tight race just ahead of the election. The final NBC News